Welcome back to Thriller Recapped. In today's video, we will be going through a 2019 thriller movie called Mermaid Down. The movie begins in a dock where two fishermen drain from a bottle of bourbon, where both fishermen debate the existence of sirens and mermaids. The older fishermen tell the marginally younger one on his plans to catch a mermaid. He plans to go out to sea in order to lay a stakeout for a week, which is long enough for the curious nature of the mermaids to get the better of them and draw them to his boat. Once he has captured one, he plans on lopping off its tail and selling the parts to the highest bidder for millions of dollars. When the younger fishermen are convinced that they have all the supplies they need to go on this expedition, they set out in the next scene. A man sails out at sea on his boats, and through his binoculars, he spots the fisherman's boat in the midst of its stakeout. Suddenly, a mermaid gets enthralled in the fishing net. They lay out in the ocean, and the man in the nearby boat watches and all in disbelief as the men struggle to contain the captured mermaid. Once it is on board the boat, the younger fisher and attempts to bind her with his ropes, but he is dragged overboard into the sea. When the mermaid manages to jump off the boat and he becomes entangled in the ropes, the other fisherman tries to shoot the mermaid, but instead shoots his companion, killing him. The mermaid is then caught up in the nets again, and the remaining fisherman recaptures her. The man nearby, having overcome his initial shock, swims to the boat and climbs on board in time to witness the fisherman chop off the mermaid's tail with an axe after dumping the mermaid's top half down a storage unit in the boat. The fisherman discovers the man on his boat. The man informs him he is Dr. Bear and that he wants to buy the mermaid. As they negotiate, the fisherman is distracted by the mermaid's fin slipping overboard, and this gives Dr. Bear the opportunity to kill a fisherman with an axe. Once they're secure, as the mermaid in the storage unit, Dr. Bear takes control of the ship. In the next scene, a group of young women hang out in the common room of the Bear psychiatric facility for women. One of the girls is to join but is sent away by June. This makes another one of the girls in the home called Rayna to make fun of June because the girl she just sent away is an imaginary friend only she can see. In another room, the orderlies discuss the existence of an underground asylum that was built under the facility. Meanwhile, the girls find the mermaid in hiding in the bathroom. She is the new girl in the facility. In his office, Dr. Bear studies his recent files on the mermaid. After a capture, she grows a cocoon, which develops into human legs. Although at the moment the mermaid is still unable to walk. After she developed the legs, Dr. Bear brought her to the facility for further study. She also only eats fish and is still unable to talk. Later, the imaginary friend finds the mermaid crawling around outside into a pool on her hands after hearing the mermaid's high-pitched squeals. Thinking the mermaid is paralyzed, the imaginary friend tries to ask June for help with the mermaid, but June dismisses her and tries to tell her that she is in fact a ghost. Although she does not believe she is one, that ghost takes out a wheelchair and gives it to the mermaid. The mermaid's activities with the wheelchair catches the orderly's attention, which makes her hide away in a vent. As she hides, she catches a glimpse of the ghost, meaning she can see the ghost. The next day, Sandra, a trainee doctor at the facility, attempts to communicate with the mermaid, but it is somewhat futile as the mermaid is unable to speak. However, progress is made when Sandra brings a basket of toys and the mermaid picks out a mermaid doll and attempts to tell the nurse she has one. The nurse can only conclude that the mermaid understands sign language, while the ghost believes there may be something more than mermaid is trying to. Later on, as the mermaid recollects the pervasive trauma she endured en route to the institute, that ghost attempts to calm her down. After noticing she is cold and brings her blankets. Sometime later, Sandra and Dr. Miller, a sign language translator, find the mermaid in the bathroom, hiding away from the others. Later that night, during a group session, the mermaid tells the group about the ghost and how she learned sign language long ago from pirates who captures other mermaids generations ago and bought thousands of girls who do not know they have mermaid in their blood. The girls do not believe her because she has legs. She reveals that this is a result of having her tail chopped off, although others may develop legs naturally when they have been on land long enough. She tells them that she will die soon if she does not return to the ocean. Flustered by the mermaid story, Sandra brings the session to an end and sends them to bed. Rayna is especially as spiteful about the mermaid's revelations. She feels this is a waste of time because the trainee doctors like Sandra always leave, and this is a source of her anger. She also feels the mermaid is only seeking attention. She spits on her before bullying June later on that night. The ghost, however, tells the mermaid she believes her. When they try to touch hands, that ghost is unable to make contact, much to her disbelief. When the girls are in bed later on that night, the orderlies bind the mermaid in a straitjacket before bringing her to Dr. Bear, who takes her down into the underground asylum. He locks her down in solitary confinement for revealing who she really is to the other patients. Linda, One of the other patients decides to investigate, but despite the warning from the ghost who followed the mermaid down to solitary confinement, Linda is attacked by a man-eating guard dog left there by the doctor. The next day, the mermaid escapes the underground asylum and watches TV with the other patients while one of the girls draws lipstick on her lips. Sometime later, the orderlies in the hospital watch as the mermaid finally learns to walk, stumbling on her feet like a newborn. Later that night, as the girls get ready for bed, the mermaid breaks out of their room through a window where she hears a dog barking outside. The other girls follow her through the woods to a creek. Back at the facility, Sandra expresses her displeasure at the nature of Linda's departure. When Dr. Bear tells her the patient has gone away, in order to keep her happy, Dr. Bear congratulates her for helping the mermaid walk. The girls watch the mermaid basks in the dirty creek before getting bored. When they decide to return to the facility, only Rayna is reluctant to return and she remains with the mermaid. When the mermaid will not come out of the creek, Rayna tries to put a hoodie on her but is instead drawn into a hug. Rayna inadvertently begins to weep within the arms of the mermaid. In the morning, Rayna wakes up at the now dried up river to discover that the mermaid is missing. Unable to find her, she returns to the facility, unaware that she has left the ghost to look for the mermaid. The ghost finds the mermaid within the muck left behind by the dried up creek and is shocked to discover that the mermaid's tail has grown back. The ghost promises to deliver her back home to the ocean. Later that day, as Sandra tells Dr. Bear of her concerns about the girls feeling abandoned by the doctors, they find the mermaid rolling across the street on a wheelchair. Dr. Bear runs her over. Sandra sees the tail and realizes the mermaid was telling the truth the whole time. Dr. Bear, however, summons the orderlies who bind the mermaid on a gurney and take her back into the facility. When one of the nurses try to sedate her, the mermaid takes her out with her tail, breaking her neck. Meanwhile, the orderlies lock the girls in their room. The girls are rendered helpless as they watch Dr. Mayer kill one of the orderlies after he delivers the mermaid to the doctor's car. When he realizes the girls, Sandra and an orderly, witnessed the murder, he returns to the room and tries to attack the girls. Unable to break into the room and attack the facility occupants, he goes in search for the keys. As the girls try to escape, Dr. Mayers goes on a rampage, shooting everyone he can find in the facility with his gun before electrocuting a patient with a taser and blood. When he finds no one else, he escapes in his car with the mermaid and the ghost as captives. Just as police sirens draw close as they drive off, the mermaid sprays black ink all over the doctor like an enraged squid looking to escape. Sometime later, Dr. Mayer arrives at the dock with a mermaid, where he takes her into a secret compartment on his boat in order to dissect her before being apprehended by the police. Shortly after, Sandra and the other patients arrive at the dock in a taxi. Sandra goes ahead and warns the girls to stay put. While in the boat, Sandra finds a file with the pictures of the ghost showing the Dr. Bayer had tortured her there. While she looks through the files, she hears the mermaid struggles and tries to break into the secret compartment. She pulls a book which activates the trapdoor, revealing the mermaid and the doctor. The doctor tries to attack Sandra, but she shoots him through his hand before the mermaid subdues him by forcing his head through the boat and gagging him with a hook given to her by the ghost. Meanwhile, the girls who hear the gunshot jump on the boat and free the mermaid, who returns into the sea through the hole in the boat created by her struggle with the doctor. After the mermaid's escape, Rayna discovers that the boat is sinking. June tells them that the ghost informed her about corpses Dr. Bayer hid in the walls. When they break the walls down, they discovered the ghost corpse. As they try to escape, the revived doctor tries to drown the girls. However, the mermaid comes to the rescue and takes out Dr. Bayer with her tail before rescuing her friends from a sinking boat. Once on shore, they recollect themselves in a cave and says her goodbyes to the girls. Before she leaves, Rana asks her if any of them may be descended from mermaids. The mermaid reveals June as a descendant from mermaids, which may be why she is also the only one able to see the ghost. Before she finally returns home into the sea, she tells the ghost she can feel her, and that she will always feel her. As she finally crawls back into the ocean, the ghost disappears. Finally at rest, Sandra then grabs Rayna and tells the girls she is not going anywhere. In the final scene, something drags the floating Dr. Mayer violently deep down into the sea. Now you see this video on the screen. This is a video that YouTube thinks it's suitable for you, and in most cases they are never wrong. Click it now before it disappears. Anyway, subscribe now, and if we get to 50k likes, I will make a part 2 of this film. Until then, stay thrilled.